you are a multidimensional being, but what the heck does that mean, right? So dimensions are different portals, different realities, and there is like just so many that your mind couldn't wrap around, right? So your mind is one dimension, right? It's logic. It wants to make sense out of everything so that it can understand, so that it can, feel more comfortable, right? Because most of us have been trained to live from this part of ourselves, the brain, the mind, right? We're taught in schools, we have to concentrate, we have to think hard, we have to work hard, right? This is all mind, this is all logic. Now, there's another aspect to ourselves that uses intuition, which is for most of us quite subtle, if it is at all. But we all have it, right? We all have intuition. We all have that gut feeling. Now, this is another dimension which is far more in tune with our true nature, and it allows us to it's where our limitless possibility is. It's where our potential lies. It's where our magic lies. It's where no fear exists. Fear exists in the mind, so that's a different dimension, right? So those are just two different dimensions I'm talking about, but there are multiple. You are a multi-dimensional being which has the capability of creating realities from all of these different dimensions. We also have the ability to skip from one to the other. We also have, when we become conscious of this, we then have the ability to choose whether we're going to stick with logic, stick with the mind, or we're going to stick with the magic, the intuitive part of ourselves. So it's really important to understand that we're multidimensional, because when we understand that, then we can become aware of what we actually want, where we want to, create our realities from. Because we've been conditioned since birth to live from the mind, which is why all the intuitive stuff can feel like woo-woo sometimes, because we haven't had the time, we haven't given, that time to develop it, right? So if we haven't had the time to develop it, it can seem like something that's just not, you can't make sense of it, right? Because you're living in that dimension of making sense of things from the brain, from the mind. So that's just a little touch on how you're multidimensional. Those are just two dimensions, but there are so many more, which I won't go into now, maybe in another video. But you can start to see. And the reason why the mind is so loud and we have all this chatter, we're not actually designed that way. We're not designed to have all this mental chatter. If you think, and proof of this is just as we're born, when we're babies, right, we don't have any of that mental chatter telling us. We have infinite possibility. We have no fear. We will literally try anything without any fear, because we don't have all that conditioning already downloaded into our mind, right? So we just have the intuitive. We have, we are living based off of energy, which is everything, which is more true, right? It's much more true than what our mind conceptualizes, because what our mind conceptualizes is completely different from the next person, right? We all have different perceptions of things, and that comes from our conditioning, right? So when we're seeing things from more of our true nature, our intuitive nature, we're able to see things as true potential, like infinite possibilities, and there is like so much more room for growth, for magic, and for just things that our mind would never be able to perceive. So if you're living from the mind and what you can perceive, then you're going to have a very tunnel view, a very narrow vision. When you're able to open up into the more intuitive side of yourself, then you're going to be able to explore far more dimensions and far more like possibilities, and you're going to create a much better reality.